Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining me today. I'm so glad that you're here. So I wonder, have you ever tried helping a friend, somebody you care about, who's really upset? And you say things like, hey, calm down, or hey, take it easy, or hey, quit overthinking it. And what happens in them? Usually, instead of helping, it just makes it worse. And the reality is that you and I have all done that. And we assume when it's someone's big feelings are just too much, they're overwhelmed, the best thing to do is help them reframe or shift their perspective, or let's just pray about this. But based on how the brain actually works, that's often the last thing that they need first. So today, I want to give you a simple picture for understanding emotional regulation. That's what this is about, regulating emotions. Not too much, not too little. And we're going to use the story of Goldilocks and the three bears, and specifically the three bowls of porridge to help make sense of it. So stay with me. So think of those three bowls as three states of our nervous system. One is too hot, one is too cold, and one is just right. I think this analogy will help us understand what happens inside us when we're under pressure or duress or stress or something's happened. So the first one, we'll call it the red zone. That's when the porridge is too hot. In that moment, the person is what we call hyper aroused. This is when their nervous system is really jacked up. The person feels overwhelmed or panicked, or reactive, or angry. And it's a clear indication that their amygdala has been hijacked. They could feel everything, but they can't really deal or think clearly. They are just too activated. So imagine Goldilocks taking that huge burning bites and someone there standing next to her and her mouth is on fire and she's screaming and just say, you're fine. Just relax. It's best if you just don't focus on it. And that's what we often do. We try to talk people out of their overwhelming, distressful emotions, but their system is just so activated that no amount of information gets in. So then people start cheerleading, fixing, sharing some spiritual advice, really quickly thinking that's going to help. But see, when someone's too hot, they don't need more content. They need more connection. It's the idea of someone sitting in the well, right? And sadly, I have done that. Instead of sitting in the well with them in their pain, I lecture them out of their feelings. And it just made it worse. In some ways, I think there may have been a part of me trying to talk them out of it because I was uncomfortable. It seemed too big for me. And my own system had gotten dysregulated. So I was calming them down to try to calm me down. All right, second bowl, too cold. We call this the blue zone, and this is when someone is hypo-aroused. Basically, they've shut down. They're numb, foggy, distant, kind of just numbing out, checking out. Whatever it is they do, it's too much to deal with, too much to feel, really. And they're kind of avoiding eye contact. They kind of are slumped down, and they just really aren't connecting to what they feel. That part has kind of gone offline. It's like it's frozen emotionally. And so our tendency sometimes is to lean in, push a little harder. Hey, talk about whatever's bothering you. That's going to make you feel better. And that's what I do. But then they just feel more pressure. Like they got to talk. They got to share. They got to all that. And again, the issue isn't lack of information. It's a lack of connection. So in the red zone, we don't want to kind of heat things up anymore by telling them to calm down. And in the blue zone, we don't want to leave them cold and alone, either to figure it out or to kind of push them. And that all brings us to the third bowl, which is just right, and it's labeled the green zone. And that's a place where the person is emotionally present, but not overwhelmed. They're calm, and they're connected. They're open, they're left and the right brain, but it's not flooded. It's kind of a sweet spot where a person could be both feeling and dealing. And this is the state where the deepest change and growth and healing happen. And it's the place where corrective relational experience happens best. And those create the biggest transformation. So these CREs are part of this larger evidence-based theory called memory reconsolidation. And I'm going to say more about that at the end. But for now, I just want to come back to this idea that just know that real present relationships expand this green zone where transformation and real change happen. And this whole piece is really what science calls dyadic affect regulation. The idea is simple. Basically, one caring person can help another person return to an emotional balance. So earlier I felt overwhelmed. And no amount of trying to think or pray my way out of it was working, and I was really stuck. And so then I finally decided to share some of those feelings with one of my life team members. And she listened, she cared, she provided her attuned, calm presence. She sat in the well with my discouragement and my dread and my despair. She didn't try to talk me out of it. She didn't try to fix it. She just offered herself in a very safe, steady, regulated place of being with me. You see, those kinds of things help people. They help me to come back online without getting flooded or to shut down. And so may I suggest a simple way to practice this in your daily life? The next time someone you love or care about is struggling, just ask yourself, whoa, is this kind of hot right now? Or is this really, really cooled off? Or what? Because we don't want to kind of rush into fix or rush in to do anything. We want to just be present or accept or contain it and be present and just attune and be a safe person to sit in the well with them right where they're at. Because when they get in that green zone, they can feel our connections, our safety, and growth. And they can feel and deal with things. So not every emotional struggle needs advice or prayer first. Sometimes it just needs attunement and your calm presence. See, people change and grow best when they feel safe enough to be fully present in your presence. And so just be aware, too hot, too cold, because that can help you understand your spouse, your child, a client, a friend, even yourself in a whole new way. And so maybe this week, instead of trying to talk someone out of their big feelings, you just sit with them in the well. And that helps them to come back to that just right space where things like peace or connection and real change have a chance to start and begin. You know, there's some of you that are really focused on this neuro change stuff, and I love it. And you're starting to connect the dots that this green zone is the key physiological and psychological place for permanent brain change. It's where we can do these corrective or transformative relational experiences. And that's the foundation of our work. That's the mechanism for transformation based on memory reconsolidation. It's how you help people grow. And so if you're ready to move from just understanding these three zones to start mastering the skill of leading people into this green zone where real change happens, I invite you to join my spring neuro coaching certification cohort. We go deep into the practical application of these ideas of dyadic, two people, affect, emotion, regulation, the green zone, that science explains as one calm, caring person connecting with another to return them to emotional equilibrium, right brain to right brain synchronicity. You're going to learn the exact protocols for initiating all of those and more that creates the real life lasting changes in somebody else. So there are some clicks in our email that you can click on for more information. I'd be happy to talk to you about that. I want to thank you again for joining me and for listening. And until next time, all the best. Bye now.